Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is the Gridiron Review, and we are going to be covering our 2024 NFL Draft top quarterbacks, starting with a couple honorable mentions before we get into our top five. Before suffering a very gruesome lower leg injury, Jordan Travis was trending upwards and seemed to be the makings of one of those late round first players that could be more NFL ready than others and not need as much development. That being said, we still don't feel like Jordan Travis has the upside of an elite player, but he could be taken on day two and end up starting before you know it. He has pretty good athleticism, a decent arm, and decent accuracy overall. There's not really another word. He's not super special, but he is a decent starter, similar to how Daniel Jones has been in the NFL. And a team that doesn't want to spend a first-round pick on a quarterback could look to take Travis on day two and let him heal up and develop, similar to how the Lions took Hendon Hooker last year. We understand we are going to get a ton of heat for this. We already have on our TikTok account, but we don't view Drake Maye as a can't-miss prospect in this draft. And before you run to the comment section to tell us how bad of a take this is, we are one of the few people that had Will Levis as a day two pick and ended up being right. That is not to say that we have the same grade on Maye as we did on Levis. We like Maye more, and there's much more to work with, in our opinion, with Maye. However, we feel like even though our projection or evaluation of his talent sees a day two player, we admit he is going to be a first round pick most likely. You can check out our full breakdown on our website with Drake Maye's profile, but essentially we view him very similarly to Sam Darnold. Both have pretty long arm releases. They are not great dealing with pressure, while also being pretty good athletes with a decent arm and projectable upside. Sam Darnold still theoretically could be a starter in this league. That being said, Sam Darnold probably would have benefited from him sitting in the same way that Drake Maye should sit for a year, maybe even two. We really view Maye as needing to get the Jordan Love treatment that he got in Green Bay. If Maye goes to a favorable spot, maybe falls a hair, like the Rams where he's able to sit behind an established veteran, that would be much better off for his career than if he's taken top five and forced to start sooner rather than later. A big thing Drake Maye has on his side is his age. He's very young in this class, and very young in general for the latest trend of draft prospects coming out due to the COVID year, NIL, and such. And Maye has the most time, theoretically, that he could spend developing and have the best outcome. Kicking off our top five, we have Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. Everyone knows him. He was one of the biggest risers this year. The odd thing is that people seem to be ignoring his medicals. It's reported that he checked out fine, but you still have multiple lower leg injuries that ended seasons and upper body injuries as recently as the national championship game. If he didn't have the medicals, we would view him as a mid to late first round prospect, but he does have the medical issues. That's why we think he's more likely to be taken early day two. And in the NFL, we view him as a true gunslinger, someone that's going to have a ton of production in the right offense, but someone that's going to turn the ball over a lot. The lack of interceptions in college are deceptive because there's a lot of drop picks by defenses against Michael Penix. But we view him very similarly to someone like Jay Cutler. J.J. McCarthy may be the biggest riser at the quarterback position, going from day two pick to possibly top five, even top three, depending on where the Minnesota Vikings may or may not trade up to. McCarthy is coming off a national championship win and also possesses probably the biggest risk associated with any of the quarterbacks in this class. Similar to Drake Maye, McCarthy would really benefit from sitting and continuing to learn, but we're not sure he's going to get that opportunity based on where he's being projected. We don't view him as a top five pick, but we do feel like he is a first round talent overall. He has a very good arm. He's a decent athlete. And really our biggest concerns were answered at the combine in his interview questions on the sidelines, as well as in his actual pre-draft process. He answered all the questions correctly and in the best way possible, in our opinion, especially about being a game manager versus being an elite player. And we have him similar to Dak Prescott, but honestly, Alex Smith is another name that comes to mind when thinking of J.J. McCarthy. And the reason we have him ranked over guys like Penix and Maye is due to the fact that McCarthy has at least a higher floor, in our opinion, where if he does end up with a game manager a la Alex Smith, it's not the worst thing in the world. We don't see him completely busting in the NFL, even though his ceiling may never be completely reached. Jayden Daniels is likely the number 2 overall pick. He's very similar to Marcus Mariota in Washington's backup, so it only makes sense for him to go there. However, our comp for him is Cordell Stewart, someone that turned the ball over a lot more And we see Jayden Daniels as a great athlete, not that very effective as a runner in open fields. He's just going to kind of run by you or try and run through you, even though he doesn't have the body for that. And he takes an abnormal amount of big hits. He doesn't really make people miss, but it is still an elite asset that defenses will absolutely have to keep an eye on. You'll probably have to designate a spy. As far as his arm goes, he's got a very good arm. There are some lower body mechanical issues that cause him to underthrow, and we think he's got the highest bust potential in this class for the top group of quarterbacks. Despite having a very good arm, he underthrew a ton, and we don't think it's due to arm strength issues. His accuracy as a whole is pretty spotty, but again, you're talking about probably the biggest upside not named Caleb Williams in this class, so we see why he's probably going to the Commanders. We just don't know if they've got the right personnel in place to develop him, so time will tell with that. We have serious concerns that if not developed properly, that Jayden Daniels will be a turnover machine in the NFL. So we just hope that the new regime in Washington, if they do take him, is doing things right. Although the reports that they've hosted every quarterback at once on a visit doesn't suggest this. This is almost certainly going to raise some eyebrows as well. We have Bo Nix as the second best quarterback in this class. We think he's probably the best combination besides Caleb Williams of upside and floor. He gets knocked for a lot of his completions coming from behind the line of scrimmage and a decent amount of production that way, but that's what he was asked to do. He fit within the system at Oregon, and when he was asked to throw it downfield, he did it well. He's the most pro-ready. He could start day one and not have to be taken in the top 5. He's likely going to somewhere like Denver. We don't see him as a second-round prospect. I know there's reports that he could fall, but we don't see it. He's a pretty good athlete as well. He's got a strong arm. It's just all there. He's got a ton of experience. And maybe his ceiling is lower than some of the other guys in this group, but we just view him as someone that can go right away. And we view him similar to Sam Howell, someone we had a first-round grade on, and someone that Washington really screwed up developmentally by having a terrible offensive line, rushing him too quickly. And we do still feel like Sam Howell has upside, just like we see Bo Nix having upside. It wasn't too long ago where the trend was to rank Drake Maye right up there with Caleb Williams, which is absolutely insane. People are just trying to be different. Caleb Williams is by himself in this class. He's by himself in the last couple of classes. Even though we loved C.J. Stroud last year, Williams is on his own as far as a prospect potential goes. The weird narratives that he can't operate within a script are just untrue. He just happens to be so amazing off script that it's gotten more attention. He's got a very good arm. I wouldn't call it best in the league, but it's still very good. He's underrated as a rusher, even though the comps to Kyler Murray seem to have his rushing value overvalued a little bit. He's not that good of a runner, but he is very talented. He can make all of the throws. He does progress through reads, although it could be faster. He's pretty accurate, especially on the deep throws, and we just see him transforming this Bears franchise, immediately becoming one of the best quarterbacks year one that they've ever had. If you made it this far, we appreciate you following along. Give a like, subscribe for more NFL draft content, and check out our website for full prospect breakdowns. Thanks.